Lesson 5: How to Be an American. With a tip of my hat to James Walmsley and a big shovel full of irony and sarcasm. Don't do what I did when I came to America. Don't assume that because Americans speak English, they understand English the way an English person speaks it, or in fact how others use English. As an ESL teacher, I realize that English is a particular language, but more importantly, America has a particular cultural approach to language. The culture of the American language is as diverse as its people. For all the red, white, and blue flags that adorn people's homes across the country, most Americans have little in common with each other. Because America is a continent and not just a country. Its geography is vastly different from the frigid north of Alaska to the sweltering heat of the Gulf of Mexico, from the dry desert lands of the south and southwest to the bludgeoning concrete jungles in the northeast. And that's before you meet the people, who are more diverse than their land. America emboldens people. America forces people to act as individuals. America incorporates every type of climate and correspondingly every kind of lifestyle and personality needed to live in such diverse communities. The idea that the United States is united is a misnomer. It exists exactly because it's not united, and each state, county, region, city, town, and household acts like a law unto itself. The second thing not to do is use irony, pathos, satire, or sarcasm in your language with Americans. Americans take themselves very seriously, unless they're complete screw-ups, in which case they demand to be laughed at. Self-effacing humor is not appreciated. All humor and comedy is aimed at someone else, which is why the politically incorrect movement is so devastating to the political and social commentators who rely on stereotypes to simplify their explanations of the complexities of the world. The observations in this book, consequently, will piss off a lot of Americans who read them and cause them to make it a hit because they will trash it or love it on social media. Either way, speaking the truth unsettles most Americans about themselves. The A1 thing that people new to America need to understand is the concept of attitude. The noun is always used as a verb. Attitude is an action, both positive and negative, which colors your presentation to the world and defines you as someone to be reckoned with. Attitude can be summed up by the adage, "I'm going to live forever," because Americans don't believe they're going to die. That only happens to the other guy. Americans think that death is a choice. Therefore, to be truly worthy of your God-given right to be an American, your attitude must be built on a deep-seated belief that you can delay death or avoid it altogether if you really try. So it's up to you, because if you die before your time, you have no one to blame but yourself. This explains America's obsession with Dr. Oz. Health shows, exercise, miracle supplements, plastic surgery, and talk shows that turn personal problems into entertainment. The basic concept of American life is that you've got just one life to live. Although with advances in medical science, there's an increasing possibility that you can replace parts that fall off your body. But in lieu of that, it's up to you to get it right the first time. Therefore, you must use your time purposefully and maximize your individual potential. Have a nose job, get a college degree, marry rich, and grab as much money as possible. The most significant attitude you will need to cultivate is your view of yourself as a rock star or porn star or TV star. Talking about yourself in the third person, Queen E of the UK has overused the we phrase. Like you are somebody has a magical, though revolting way of bringing attention to yourself. This is difficult for most people who come from civilized, self-referencing cultures, because self-advertisement smells of lack of self-worth and integrity. Be that as it may, you will find it useful to develop a malleable, schizophrenic character that finds no fault with pretentious, self-aggrandizing citizens who need to tell you about themselves. Think of it as a new way to learn patience and understanding, like one of those 60s hippie songs. I digress. The last paragraph was really only about Californians and wannabe Californians. The ones everyone in the rest of America thinks are cuckoo. So let's return to talking about taking care of your body. It's important that you cultivate an attitude that conveys the belief to those around you that you will live forever, because that's what Americans believe. So it's important to be prepared for immortality. When you see the sales in the paper, be on the lookout for the special snake oil formulas praised by some celebrity whose career has gone down the toilet until he or she discovered a pill that gave the celebrity perfect health. It's only your fault in being imperfect. It's your responsibility to be in perfect health, and that protects you from the reality that at any moment you may become a ward of the state in one of its hospitals. Faith is everything. Attitude is the critical illusion needed to believe in the optimism of being an American. Your life is only in your own hands if you believe it is so. It's imperative that you block out all references to objective reality. This requires a strong, self-centered attitude. Attitude has no class or racial distinction. Everyone has an attitude in America. The quality of your life, as well as its duration, will be based on how well you convey to those around you that your attitude is as powerful as theirs, or if not, more powerful. You owe it to yourself to be beautiful, clever, skinny, successful, and healthy with attitude. And if you fail, it's because you're not trying hard enough. Death and poverty are not natural phenomena, but rather the product of your own lack of ambition and self-centeredness. The daily thrill of discovering something new in a commercial is an anticipation that starts the moment one wakes up and rises to a white-hot fever pitch of beatific excitement as the toxic sales rags come sluicing through your mailbox. The good old days don't exist for a true American. Even the anti-Christ music styles of rap and the overly special effective action movies are considered better because they're newer. Newness trumps quality. History is old and dead because it's not new. Modern medicine is better, newer, and improved. Once there was smallpox, now there's Ebola, a new disease. Old things are treated with disdain as signs of poverty because every true American knows better, funnier, and newer things are being created just around the corner. America is still new, a mere pup in nationhood building, compared to the nations of the world. America is still warm and happily drooling like a little fat baby, full of newness and the unanticipated consequences of its poo-poo. When the first public statement of the President of the United States after the 9/11 catastrophe was to keep shopping, it was clear that faith in newness reigns supreme. Across the country, new properties always command higher prices than older properties, and new shopping malls snatch customers from the mum and pop stores that everyone loved. New products are greeted with enthusiasm and discarded almost as fast because the next version will always include improvements or new gadgets. The past, thank God, is past along with its mistakes and errors and lessons and responsibilities. Why cling to the past when the future has given us the smartphone over the telephone, SpongeBob over news shows, and coated aspirins over cold baths? Dear reader, you will notice here that I'm not following my own good advice as mentioned above. Don't assume that because Americans speak English, they understand English the way an English person speaks it, or in fact how others use English. Because irony and sarcasm are in the mind of the beholder, and because, as mentioned again earlier, Americans don't care for irony. But freedom wouldn't mean anything if one didn't exercise it. And for me, freedom means saying what I feel. So the message here is that it's important to exercise freedom, but to be aware that it sometimes comes with a cost. Or as the adage goes, you have to pay the cost to be the boss. Choice and the illusion of it is as sacred to true Americans as newness and machine-made apple pies. True Americans love to indulge their attitudes about choice, and they exercise it as much as possible by disregarding a perfectly good product, service, or important piece of information just to see what the other choice offers. That's why true Americans elect so many people: presidents, governors, judges, senators, congressmen, and dog catchers. True Americans never commit themselves to anything in life. Leaders who cannot be changed, like monarchs, make true Americans nervous. True Americans reserve the right to change decisions whenever and whatever. Anything less is an attack on personal freedom and a reminder of what dictatorship must be like. Limited choice makes true Americans uneasy. They even get edgy when their favorite fruit is out of season. Nowhere do people view restrictions with more alarm than in America. For this reason, true Americans mistrust package holidays and long-term investments. Contracts of employment must always contain appropriate get-out clauses. True Americans plan vacations and shop for Christmas at the last possible minute and make final decisions only after all possible choices have been considered. True Americans love conducting business by phone because they're deadly afraid of committing anything to paper. The right to substitute a tossed salad for French fries is enshrined in the Constitution. To be a true American is to live à la carte. Choice is the same thing as freedom, which is the same thing as money, which is the same thing as being an American. And that's the real secret of the true American's fondness for cash. It's not that true Americans are by nature greedier or needier than the rest of the world. It's just that true Americans admire money more openly. True Americans see money as a measurement of individual worth and value and the final guarantee of personal choice. Because money is power and power is good, lack of money means you lack power, which makes you a loser. Money is a hedge against being a loser. Plus, you can take it with you to your grave by forcing your kin to engrave your name on some building that people will have to pay to visit. Or if you've got enough, you may not have to go at all. Cash gives you room to maneuver. If it turns out that death is optional and science comes up with a commercial miracle, your dollars guarantee that you won't be ignored. Money buys the best, and the best is the true American's birthright. Miss Piggy from Sesame Street, that great true American, said it best: Moi, I come first. When she performed her weekly show, she touched a chord deep in the hearts of her country people. True Americans consider their first duty and obligation to be to look after number one, themselves. This follows the logic, I'm going to live forever, and good guys come last. Because it stands to reason that if you don't see yourself as being number one, then you're not going to last. And how will you face heaven knowing you didn't try as hard as you could to stay out of that place? Therefore, each true American must concentrate on attaining his or her best personal attitude and achieve supreme inner self-fulfillment, which in a Iron Man duplicitously miraculous, serendipitous way will create a society of better individuals and by extension a better world, because we will be the most selfish nation in the world. True Americans don't have to read The Wealth of Nations because they intrinsically support and understand the noble ideas of Adam Smith, the economist, whose theory claimed that the individual working in his own self-interest leads ultimately to the greatest good for the state. A strong society is merely the sum of strong individual parts. America is the heartland of individualism. You protect your own interests by making choices, lots of them. If you acquire money, which gives you more leverage, then so much the better. For true Americans, the real national anthem is I Did It My Way by Frank Sinatra. Now he was a true American. To succeed in America, you have to be cute. This should be interpreted in its broadest sense, and is very nearly a metaphysical concept. It refers not only to selfish brats, children whose parents refuse to hold them accountable for bad behavior, but also it can mean being arresting, appealing, charismatic, and celebrifiable. Specific abilities are not necessary, although they can be useful in framing you as a part of a group. Through money, contacts, or prostituting yourself in some unique way in public, you may vibrate at the same frequency as the American culture, the resonance of never-ending excitement. This is the true meaning of success. Anyone, anything, and any idea can be called cute. So the term is lavishly applied. Newborn babes are cute. Dopa Radar is cute. Denzel Washington is cute. And so are Star Wars technology, raspberry popcorn, some sitcoms, and selected restaurants. Even serious corporations can get cute. For instance, an astute American businesswoman named Meg decided to call her financial consultancy Mega Bucks. Cute scratches a national itch. It describes everything you want someone or something to be. Cute is instant gratification, wish fulfillment. It has about it the delight of a fantasy come true. Presidents can be cute and virtually have to be video cute in order to win. President Obama is very, very cute, and he knows it. He is a national turn-on, cute looking, cute personality, and even cuter sense of humor. Remember how cute he was when he ran around the White House grounds chasing his dog? At times it seems he can do no wrong. Congress hates that he's so cute. Many world leaders, including President Bush, but not Senator Gore, have drawn important lessons from this. President Bush knew how to be cute and little else. Nixon knew everything else but wasn't a bit cute. Bill Clinton can be cute when he puts his considerable mind to it. Donald Rumsfeld is not one of life's natural cuties. However, the charm bred of gently self-mocking, self-awareness, especially when deployed by public figures, is unstoppable. It works for the young and for the geriatric. And if you are cute enough, you can have virtually anything. America is up for grabs. In America, don't look back. The good old times and places are gone. Lesson 5. How to be an American. With a tip of my hat to James Walmsley and a big shovel full of